Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 126. My name is Josh.
And my name's Ashley.
And today, for our final episode of Spooktober, we're going to be watching Over the Garden Wall.
Yes!
So, first off, let's just do a little bit of news. Oh, also, this episode is brought to you by Ripped Apparel. You can go to rippedapparel.com, use the code ASP10 to get 10% off of your purchase site-wide, and that's awesome. This episode is also brought to you by Funimation Entertainment. All you have to do is go to the link in the description of this podcast, and you can get 2 weeks of free anime. Then after that, it's only $5.99 a month, which is ridiculously cheap for sub and dub anime. So again, Funimation.com sponsoring this episode. Thanks a lot, guys. You should be watching.
We really appreciate it.
I'm very excited. It makes me want to cancel my Funimation subscription just so I can get a new one. But I'm not going to do that because it's going to mess up my queue, so...
That's a very good rate. I had no idea it was that cheap.
Yeah, $5.99, it's way cheap. And especially, so I guess we can kind of go a little bit of news because this broke before our last episode, is Crunchyroll and Funimation are no longer together. I want to say about 2 years ago, well, maybe a year and a half ago, they decided to do a partnership where a lot of the sub-anime that was on Funimation originally went over to Crunchyroll. And some of the stuff that Crunchyroll had went over to Funimation. And so it was like that for a while, but then they stopped. I mean, well, now, as of the end of this month, so as of Wednesday, it's no longer on. So there will be no Funimation-Crunchyroll partnership. And Funimation is pulling all of their stuff off of VRV, which honestly, to me, it makes a lot of sense because, and I kind of talked this a little bit on one of our Unlocked streams, and we'll talk here at Unlocked here in just a minute. Talked about this a little bit on our Unlocked stream. It was kind of a bad deal for Funimation because they got rid of all of their subbed anime, and it never seemed like they got a lot of anime from Crunchyroll, and so they gave a lot of their subbed anime, and that was over on Crunchyroll's site. Then Crunchyroll was able to put that on VRV because Crunchyroll and VRV are the same parent company. It's all Elation, like Rooster Teeth, so it's all AT&T. Yeah. So all of the Funimation stuff was on Crunchyroll, and it was on VRV, but it was never on, but it wasn't on Funimation. So Funimation, I assume, was getting some drop in subscribers. So to me, it makes business sense to be like, all right, yeah, no, this is stupid because like they're not getting anything from VRV, they're not getting anything from Crunchyroll, but their product is distributed everywhere else, and they're getting like pittance worth of that revenue back. So they've canceled that contract. And now everything, the subs and the dubs are going to be back on Funimation, so you'll be able to get your sub and your dub anime now.
I remember before Crunchyroll and Funimation came to a partnership, I remember that when Free came out, like Crunchyroll was the first to stream the free seasons, and then when Eternal Summer came out, Funimation released the second season dubbed because I guess they couldn't get the first season because Crunchyroll owned it. And that was really awkward. And then Funimation dubbed the first season. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I hate the way that the partnerships go like that. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, you can sub the anime, but you can't dub the anime. Like, but we're a dubbing studio. Yeah, but no. We gave Sentai the availability to dub something, but Funimation, you can sub it. And you're like, well, why would we do that? Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But, I mean, you know, contract negotiation is way above Josh's podcasting pay grade. So, thank goodness I don't got to worry about that.
How long have they been partners for?
I want to
say
2
years.
Like 2 years.
Yeah.
Or it was going on 2 years, because I remember we reported out and I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be really cool. And then it just like, because like I was under the assumption that Funimation was going to get a lot more anime than they ended up getting.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucked. So but I was one of those boys that never jumped ship. I stayed with my Funimation.
So I wonder if this means that they're still going to dub the third season of Free.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
I don't know.
I don't know who's got that.
I prefer
that's
not,
one of those,
but
I don't
whatever.
Know who's got that. They've got some anime coming up. What do they have? Oh, like, so Conception has an anime now, I guess. And Rico Fajardo, friend of the show, is on that, so congrats to him. I didn't know that was a show that was getting an anime, because it's like some PS Vita games where you basically... okay, here. I'll just read you the cover for Conception 2, because I may or may not own this. When monsters come to Alteria, so too did the disciples, teenagers with rare abilities to hold the fiends back. Unique even among disciples, your 100% success rate at producing star children blesses you with a special burden. Bond with the female disciples, raise an army, and help the world survive. So, yeah, basically what you do is your main hero, character boy, and you have to woo all of these girls in order to bond with them to create star children, who are these little guys that you can give, like... and that's another thing. Depending on who you bond with, the star children will have that mother's hair.
Right.
So, like, if you bond with the red-haired girl, they're all going to have red hair. The green-haired girl, there's a pink-haired girl. There's also a black and white-haired girl. I haven't unlocked her yet, but she like just came into the picture. And you can choose like what class you want them to be and everything like that. So it's real. And then you get to name all your little kids. It's pretty fun. And yeah, they fight monsters.
Cool.
And it's really sad when you lose a star child. They go down and you're like, no. But yeah, apparently Funimation is dubbing that. They also put the first episode of Goblin Slayer up. So if you want to go watch Goblin Slayer, that is now available on Funimation. And some other things. I haven't really looked at the whole list of new shows coming to Funimation, but like for the winter anime era. But you showed us a show like a few weeks ago about a skeleton guy in a bookstore.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh, I got.
Are there more episodes for that?
Yes, but I failed to. I completely forgot that anime existed because I watched that episode right when it released, like an hour ago. What is it called? Hold on.
While you look for that, I just got the notification from Funimation. The first episode of Zombieland Saga is now streaming on Funimation Now. And I'm glad they're going back to the hashtag you should be watching. Okay,
it's called Gaikokutsu Shotennen Honda-san. In other words, it's Skeleton Bookstore Clerk Honda-san. And it is, just watch the first episode and you will be instantly hooked. It's a comedy. It's about this guy, an employee who works at a comic book store or manga store, and he's a skeleton.
I think it's just a bookstore.
Or a bookstore, but mostly geared towards anime, manga, boys uravu. And he comes across all these customers who are like asking him, do you have this? Do you have this manga? Like, and they speak like English.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And,
so
oh my gosh.
When I watched this, I immediately thought, you know what, Ashley, let's do this. Let's completely forget the American voiceover market. Let's not do any more. Let's just send all of our demos to Japan.
Yes.
So when they need an English actor, like, we just need an English voice to do something.
Like,
They
you
can
guys don't
choose
need to
us.
try so hard to speak English, so...
Exactly. It's like, we can do it for you.
But I totally recommend you guys, please, please, please do yourself a favor and go watch this anime. Again, it's Skeleton Bookstore Clerk Honda-san. I watched it on YouTube, but you could probably watch it on any anime streaming site.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. See, that's one of those. It's probably on Crunchyroll, but I don't have a Crunchyroll subscription, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'll probably just wait till it comes out and I'll buy it. And I kind of alluded to it earlier. Speaking of Unlocked, the wonderful app that lets you connect with voice actors and artists and podcasts out there, they launched a few new. They've been popping out updates like crazy, and the newest update. Would you like to take a wild guess what the newest update is, Ashley?
Do the live streamers get to literally interact with the fans, like a split screen or whatever?
Yes, it is.
Woohoo!
So it is now live. So now, if we want to do an ASP episode on Unlocked on Wednesday nights, which you can catch those Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time.
So does that mean?
As well.
So does that mean you are gonna skip trick or treating and do a live stream anyway for Halloween?
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to do a live stream anyway because we have a scheduled show now.
Halloween live stream.
Oh, I should probably dress up for
Yeah,
that.
do it.
I don't have anything to dress up as.
Just go to Spirit Halloween and get like $1 costume, whatever.
I guess I could go as Dipper.
You could go as Honda-san. Just get a skeleton and just like dress it up.
No, the one that I want, I like that bag. Like the dude with the bag over his head. That's the one that I would want to cosplay as.
Oh my goodness.
That one's the best. That one I'm like, I got you.
You would totally be
I could dress as Dipper.
Go as Dipper.
I have the hat. I have the vest.
Oh my gosh, please.
Yeah, I'll go as Dipper. Why not?
So they have the split screen feature now.
Correct. Yeah, the split screen feature is now up. There's also a community page. So you can post anybody can post stuff in the community page. There's like polls and stuff like that you can do. What else is there? The Android version will be coming soon. It is still they said November. I'm hoping I need to get with Bryce and David and see when if they have like a narrowed down date of when, or at least like this week we're coming out with that. I'll see if I can get Bryce before he starts streaming tomorrow, and I'll ask him. So I mean that's Unlocked is going great. We've been hitting a lot of cool people on there,
including myself.
Yes, you've been on a couple, and now you can actually hop on an episode with us.
Aha! I don't have to drive like 10 hours.
Oh, I like how you were gonna drive to Oklahoma. You're a crazy
I mean, it
person.
could happen.
I mean, yeah, and it's more than 10 hours.
Oh my goodness. Driving, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a long way. It's 10 hours to Nashville.
Then it would probably be longer because
yeah. Yeah, it's not a fun drive. But anyway, let's go ahead and end Spooktober. So for our final episode for Spooktober, we watched Over the Garden Wall, which is the 2014. Is that correct? Yeah, 2014 Cartoon Network miniseries created by Patrick McHale.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I lost it. Patrick McHale starring the voices of Elijah Wood, Colin Dean, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, I apologize, Melanie Lineski, Christopher Lloyd, Jake Jones, and Samuel Ramey. Along with John Cleese.
And James Earl Jones.
Oh, and James Earl Jones.
And Tim Curry.
And Tim Curry, yep. And, oh crap, I can't remember that guy's name. The horse, Fred.
Oh my gosh, I don't know who voices him.
Oh man. Well, shoot. Oh well. Hold on, I got this. Vamp. You're doing a
It's just like we're all scrolling through Google.
Doing a great job of vamping. I'm just kidding. So yeah, this is what happens.
Oh, Fred Stoller.
Okay. As Fred the horse?
Fred the horse. The talking
Nice.
horse.
And he is yeah. I heard his voice and I was like, that's the dude from Everybody Loves Raymond. That was the first place my voice in my head went. It's like, that's the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond. All right, so first off, Ashley, how did you hear about this series?
Well, first off, this show is my most ultimate favorite show ever, animated series, like, of all time. I love it to death. So I'm very happy we're finally talking about this show. So I first discovered it when my friends were just talking about it nonstop on Facebook. So I was like, I'm bored. I'll give this a shot. I turn it on. And the moment Jason Thunderburger, the frog, comes in out of the darkness playing the piano, and just the tune he plays.
Is that his final name is Jason Thunderburger? Because he has like
Yes.
13 names.
Yes, it's Jason Thunderburger.
Okay.
And just the tune he plays, my eyes widened, because it was like a musical tone that it tells you, it gives you the set tone of the whole entire show. And that was the most perfect intro I've ever seen in an animated series. It just tells you this show that you're about to watch is going to be like no other you've ever seen before. And I was like, yes, give it to me. And watched the first episode, instantly hooked. I could just list out all the things I love about it. The colors, the characters, the story, the music, the theme, the color schemes, the characters, the voice cast, especially. Every single thing about it is pure genius. And I really hope to meet Patrick McHale just to give him a firm handshake for a job well done.
Mm-hmm. So Patrick, if you're listening, come on the show so we can
Please.
we can verbally handshake you. See, mine was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, the first time I heard about this show was when I was really getting into Gravity Falls. And whenever it was like, oh, Gravity Falls, but it was always like Gravity Falls and then Over the Garden Wall. They were like always right next to each other. So like you would scroll and you'd see like a picture of Dipper and Mabel, and then you would see Greg and Wirt, and you're like, oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, this is what this is. So yeah, that's how I kind of first learned about Over the Garden Wall, and this is my first time watching it. And now I'm very sad because I can't buy a DVD or a Blu-ray of it anywhere.
Actually, you can. I have a DVD of it.
How long ago have you had it? Because I tried to find it on Amazon, and it was like,
eBay?
No. Oh, eBay.
I think I got it for just $10, $13.
See, I never think to go on eBay for anything.
I mean, I would love to have like a Blu-ray of it to have like special features or whatever. But there is no Blu-ray of it because it is a mini series and it's on Hulu. So, but I have it on DVD.
Stinking Hulu.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, I guess we can kind of give a brief little thing. So, from the back of the DVD box, Over the Garden Wall is Cartoon Network's first animated miniseries event that tells the story of two brothers, Wirt and Greg, who find themselves lost in a strange forest. With the help of a bluebird named Beatrice, they must travel across a strange land in hope of finding their way home. So yeah, that's all I got. That's all it would tell you.
While encountering some quirky and mysterious characters along the way and helps them out in any kind of troubles they have. And then later on, they meet a certain dark character that is like one of the best villains in any animated series, voiced by the Darth Vader himself, using his Darth Vader voice. Yeah, so once we'll talk about more of the show, it's like we'll find out who this guy is. Sorry, I'm like just
I
so
have
excited.
Samuel Edward Ramey as the Beast, not James Earl Jones.
Who is what?
Yeah, Samuel Edward Ramey.
No, that's a lie. No. It's James Earl Jones. What are you talking about? It's James Earl Jones.
I mean, if it was James Earl Jones, it would put James Earl Jones, like, on the back of this box. He ain't on
What
there.
are you looking at?
Give me just 1 second.
I thought you said you couldn't find a DVD copy of it.
Oh, it's Hannah's.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so according to both IMDb and the very, very influential Wikipedia, Samuel Ramey is the Beast. And I just...
Are you sure?
Broke poor little Ashley's heart. Yeah, I
swear to God.
Ramey.
No, I swear to God, it was James Earl Jones.
Samuel Ramey's. What I got here? Yep. Sorry.
You can't change my mind. It's James Earl Jones.
I mean,
it sounds like it's Darth Vader.
Is it?
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh, we're gonna have this argument all night long.
I mean, it's not really an argument. Like one of us is right and the other one's you.
I'm gonna stick with James Earl Jones, and you can't change my mind.
All right, and then when we meet James Earl Jones, we'll be like, "Hey, remember Over the Garden Wall?" He'd be like, "Nope." Like, I remember Star Wars.
You can't change my mind.
Okay, I'll just sit back here and be right. But,
anyway,
you do you. So it's about two boys and they get lost in the woods. I do like that you don't actually see how they got lost in the woods until like the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I thought that was really good. Very much a well, no, never mind. I'm not going to make that comparison because that's a stupid comparison. Yeah, so very much like I said I wasn't going to do it.
Hansel and Gretel.
Well, I was gonna compare it to Miraculous Ladybug.
Why?
Because you gotta hear me out first, ma'am.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say you don't learn about their origins until the last episode of season 1. I wasn't making a these two shows are the exact same. I was just pointing out a fact that you don't learn anything about the origins
you are ruining this for
of these two characters until the last episode, which happens in Miraculous Ladybug. I apologize for making the reference.
Oh my gosh, you're ruining this for me.
I don't know how I'm ruining it. That was a storyteller's example, not a show example. It was a storyteller's example. They leave you hanging and have you guessing the entire time, and then they reveal in the last episode.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, stop giving me guff.
You stop giving me guff.
Well, I mean, when you're right on something, I'll stop giving you guff. So anyway, and I like it. Like they meet Beatrice along the way, who is kind of a snotty bird to young Wirt, But
very
I think
sass.
that I'm sorry.
Very sassy.
Yeah, I do like how their relationship evolves throughout the course of the series of the 10 episodes. And their dynamic, I think, is my favorite dynamic in the show.
Definitely.
Because I mean, like, you actually have character progression there between the two characters, and I love me some character progression.
Mm-hmm.
So what about you?
Like, what do I love about? What was the question?
We'll just go. What do you think about their character progression?
Oh, well, I do indeed love the develop progression of their friendship, especially like when Beatrice starts to warm up to the characters and learn more about Wirt, especially because they are facing some dangers together, and then she starts to feel like she's doing the wrong thing of betraying Wirt and Greg, leading them to this evil person and just lying to them, and then she has a change of heart, even though she feels like she is like smarter than Wirt. That it's like, because like when she says, you know, goodbye to him, it's like, oh, you wonderful mistake of nature. It's like, oh my gosh, so cute.
Man, I was hoping if things didn't work out with Sarah, young Wirt and Beatrice, but
well, after listening to Wirt's tape, I still think it's precious.
What was Wirt's tape?
Wirt's For Sarah tape is a little cassette tape that he records poetry, his own poetry, and clarinet numbers, and he records it on his cassette tape because it takes place in the 90s, apparently, and he tries to give it to Sarah, but then he is very hesitant to give it to her. But now you can actually listen to the tape on YouTube. Please go listen to it right now, because Elijah Wood, oh my gosh, he has such a wonderful word. And the poetry he tells Sarah, it's so ridiculously precious. And Greg makes a couple of appearances, which is adorable.
That's awesome. And who knows, maybe stay tuned for the end of the episode. If Josh can find it, maybe he'll put it up there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I didn't know that was out there. That's awesome. But I mean, this is again my first time watching this show, and yeah, I want to buy it now. It was really,
yes,
really good.
It's worth buying.
So who's your favorite character in the show?
Wirt.
Right
off the bat.
Best? It's only because you've cosplayed as him.
Well, that's not the only reason. It's, I don't know. I mean, it's not just Wirt. I love the Beast and Beatrice. I love all the characters. I like the village, or I like the pumpkin, Pottsfield people, and the people in the tavern. Just so many colorful, weird, mysterious characters. There are so many of them. It's hard to pick one, but Wirt is definitely my favorite because I could just relate to him. I like those kinds of characters who are kind of clumsy and try to be like a little mature. He's mature, and it's Elijah Wood too.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go with Wirt as well. I mean, he's my faves. I do like, I really like him in the Schooltown Follies episode, where he's just like, I'm just gonna do what I'm told. Very smug about it. I loved it. I was like, yes. Because you know what? I would do the exact same thing.
Oh my God.
Would be a little ass and just be like, oh, well, I do what I'm told. Well, I'm just going to sit here because I'm doing what I'm told.
I like it when he goes into that timeout or the dunce box. And then after he goes in, he peeks out from it and just gives Beatrice that sass look like YOLO.
It's so good. Oh, man. So we have 10 episodes. The first one is The Old Grist Mill, Hard Times at the Huskin' Bee, Schooltime Follies, Songs of the Dark Lantern, Mad Love, Lullaby in Frogland, The Ringing of the Bell, Babes in the Wood, Into the Unknown, and The Unknown. Don't know why I said them like that, but I did.
Now, the original pilot for the show was called Tomb of the Unknown.
Yeah, and I watched that one. Well, I think it's because that was what the original series was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Did I say tomb? I said tome. I meant tome. Sorry.
Tome of the Unknown. Which is very, very close to... oh, God. What was the original Gravity Falls?
Oh, my gosh.
It wasn't Gravity Falls. It was like... Shoot. Spooky Necronomicon thing.
I have no clue.
Oh, man. I don't remember. It's been a hot minute since Gravity Falls. But yeah, I really liked like all of these episodes. They all had a different element to them. Mm-hmm. It's not, you know, the exact same thing each and every time. Which, I mean, it's a miniseries, so you only got 10 episodes. But I do like that it is a miniseries. Like, it has a beginning and it has an end. And everything fits perfectly. There's nothing in there that's, oh, this wasn't resolved, so who knows what's going to happen here. Like, everything gets resolved. Mm-hmm. Even you know, young Sarah and Wirt. Oh yeah, and Eat Your Dirt. I love the Eat Your Dirt. That was always good.
Oh yeah.
Like that. I do like that Wirt does the poetry the entire time. Mm-hmm. Like he'll just go off with like this long soliloquy.
Oh yeah, and he just like spits out some poetry just in the middle, just out of nowhere, and it's so cute.
It's like, and I do poetry to myself, and it's like, does that make me weird? It's like, no, well, maybe the poetry. Oh man, it's so good. So what did you think about the animation?
The animation is very cute. Now Patrick McHale worked on, oh my gosh,
was it Flapjack, right?
Flapjack, yes, and he even worked on several episodes of Adventure Time as well. And then he on the side he was trying to pitch 2 projects to Cartoon Network, and one of them was Tome of the Unknown, and they wanted to look more into the Tome of the Unknown, and then he I don't know if it was his idea to do turn it into a mini series, but their original plot or synopsis for the original pitch was it's completely different from what it started out. But the synopsis was the story revolves around 2 half-brothers, Gregory and Walter, who accidentally board a train destined for the afterlife. After the conductor removes his face to reveal a skeleton, Gregory and Walter jump from the train mid-journey. They wander into a forest where they encounter a devil named Old Scratch, who tricks Gregory into a deal, and Scratch promises to return them home if they read a book of forgotten stories, the Tome of the Unknown. If the 2 of them fail, they'll be whisked away to live in the Dark Kingdom forever. So, Jesus. I guess part of that was how those other characters were introduced, like Endicott and the townspeople and the other ones, like what's her name? Lorna. I think it was one of them, and but especially Endicott. So they like go to these characters to try to resolve their problems. So it was kind of like part of their journey, kind of thing.
Okay, that's honestly, that sounds pretty cool as well.
Yeah,
and I can see how Cartoon Network didn't want to be like, let's go super dark.
Yeah, and I guess they wanted to simplify it a little bit more, just to kind of make the kids understand it. Mm-hmm. Because yeah,
was it when you were talking about the train? Was it in the last episode, or was it in the pilot that they mention a train kind of offhandedly?
Well, you could hear it in the intro, like when it says "over the garden wall." You can hear a train in the background. You can hear it, and that's the train is in in episode 9 when they jump over the garden wall and they get thrown off by the black train. And there's like they even play a song that's called "Old Black Train." And so, yeah, does that answer your question?
Sure, why not? I did like that train element. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause now it fits. So now I'm sure if I go back and watch it again, I'll be like, oh, I'll be able to catch all the little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess they were going to make the train like a big part of the story, which would have been interesting, but I like it just how it kind of like just makes them like tumble down the hill and then they end up in the lake unconscious.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess the lantern kind of takes the train's place.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I thought that lantern story was like, that was a really...
That was a good choice.
That was really good, and it got me, too. I was like, oh, snap, I did not see any of that coming. I totally thought that Christopher Lloyd's daughter was, like, in the... Like,
and
in
the
lantern,
yeah.
in the little lantern. But then it's like, oh, no, the beast is in the lantern the entire time, and then just, we're just being like, this is stupid. I'm not going to do that. That's dumb.
But
why would I do that?
Yeah, and I just love, like, that's what makes the Beast such a interesting villain, because he tricks the woodsman mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And the woodsman kind of like, goes a little crazy because he's trying to, chop down all these trees to keep just a small little lantern lit. And he's been doing that for a while. And that would just make the woodsman go crazy, and that just, oh my gosh, I felt so sorry for him.
Yeah, I want to know why the woodsman thought his daughter wasn't there. You know what I mean? Because he thinks her soul is trapped in there, but I mean, like at the end, she's just like, "Dad." It's like, where's the type? I'm like, what happened there?
Yeah, that was pretty weird. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. But yeah, I liked all of the little stories. I thought they were really. I also liked what was it, the one where they go to the tea plantation?
Oh yeah, the Endicott Mansion.
Yeah, which episode is that? Is that
5?
Mad Love. So I thought that was really really a clever little things, like, oh no, yeah, your mansion is so big and her mansion is so big that you guys just like built into the same mansion.
And I like how Wirt also includes his passion for architecture, and he notices the difference in the type of architecture it is in the ladies' mansion. It's like it looks like French Rococo style. And Beatrice is like, what the heck are you talking about?
I like how, that's the episode where we learn more about the two of them, correct?
Yeah,
yeah. Mad Love, where they're, they get a little bit. I do like when they first get locked into the.
The wardrobe.
The wardrobe together. It's like, oh well, I guess that means you and I get to spend some quality time together. And she's like, help! I thought that was good. That was a nice little bit there.
Yeah, I'm glad they had like a little moment.
Mm-hmm. So now you talked earlier that you really like the music.
Oh god, don't get me started on the music. It's just just go download the soundtrack right now. It is so beautiful. I like and I was going to also mention that my most favorite episode is the tavern episode, as what is it called? The Night of the Songs of the Dark Lantern, and that's where it has the most songs in it. And I like how like some of them are dark and some of them are silly. The only thing I was sad about was they didn't include Wirt's version of his song in the soundtrack, but it's on the vinyl disc. It's on the vinyl record. Yeah, they first came out with a vinyl record. It was like a Comic-Con exclusive or something, but I was able to listen to it on YouTube. But then last year they came out with the soundtrack on digital copies on iTunes. Like, finally, I guess they had no idea it was going to be so popular. But anyway, the music is gorgeous. It has like some bluegrass, soft jazz, some just very and even like just the score itself has dark elements and some happy piano music. And but my most favorite, I would have to say, is, oh my gosh, well, one of them is a song that Beatrice's mom sings, and it's called "One Is a Bird," and it's played at the end of episode 9 and 10 when Wirt and Greg like come back to their world or whatever when they come out of the lake, and it's so beautiful. It's like a lullaby, so definitely take a listen to that, and also the Beast songs too.
And oh, dude, good lord, go over to mondotees.com and you can get the LP for Over the Garden Wall, the original soundtrack, on a really nice, pretty vinyl for only $25.
All right.
That seems a steal.
And there's also a Come Wayward Souls. That is the song the Beast sings during the scene when Wirt is trying to find Greg and the Beast has him. And then it transcends to Potatoes et Molasses. And I still haven't yet to figure out who sings it, but I had to wonder if it was Greg's voice actor. But, and I don't know if it was like in German or Latin, but it's very sad, but beautiful. Nice. And it hurts your heart when you listen to it. But definitely take a listen to the soundtrack. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, a lot of people if you've listened to the show before, you know, I don't particularly pay too much attention to the soundtracks, mainly because I'm more interested in the story elements. But just listening, this soundtrack's actually really, really good. It's one of those where you got to be a good soundtrack for me to actually, you know, pay attention to you. And this was a good soundtrack, and I actually paid attention to it.
It's not just the songs, it's also the original score is beautiful, too.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping, there was part of me that was like, I wonder if we're going to get, like, a nice big long intro every episode, but it would be in a different style, which we didn't get, unfortunately. But, I mean, that first one's so good. Like, you see the before of everybody, like what's going on beforehand.
Yeah. Yes.
And then at the end, you get the afterwards. Like, this is how everything concludes. And it just all went really, really well, and I really, really liked it.
Yeah, it just shows, like, how much Wirt and Greg affected the unknown characters. And just, like, they all have a happy ending because of them. And just oh my gosh, can we talk about the very, 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 very last scene when Greg returns rock. Perfect ending, just the perfect introduction and perfect ending. Yes,
because that's the last scene that we see before it actually starts is him pick up the rock. And then the last thing that we see before, you know, we see the frog again, is him putting back the rock.
Because we get to see that, like, Greg admits the crime that he committed. And he says that just when he was, like, almost dying. And so I think, you know, he's just I'm just so proud of him that he's, like, returned the rock, even though he could have kept it. It was no problem, but still, he's so amazing.
Yeah, it's man. This goes up there with one of those shows that I didn't really think, it was one of those, like, I thought it was going to be overhyped. Just because everyone's like, oh man, Over the Garden Wall is the best thing ever, and blah 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 blah, and I see stuff for it. Like, I thought it was going to be like Totoro for me. Because, like, everyone was like, oh, my gosh, Totoro's the best Ghibli movie, blah, 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 blah. And I watched it, and I was like, this is what everybody liked. this was the movie that everybody like went goo goo gaga over was this movie. So I kind of thought that this was going to be the exact same way, where I was going to be like, all right, yeah, everybody loves it, and I'm probably going to be very so about it. But it really surprised me. Like, it got me really good. I was like, the bits of comedy were great, the serious parts are great, the animation was great, the music was great, the voice acting, like it's a very complete package.
It comes with
for
everything.
Wert and
Yeah.
Beatrice. That didn't happen, but you know,
I mean, it's not really.
it's not about that either.
Yeah, it's not about that. Plus, I kind of liked Wirt and Lorna a little bit.
Right?
Because they shared a song together.
Good. I liked their song. Oh man. If only there were 3 warts.
But after listening to that tape, I was like, oh my gosh, he is so dedicated to this girl. It's just like, it reminded me of Marco and Jackie. Just how dedicated Marco is to his crush. It's like he would do anything to get her attention, and Wirt was kind of like that, but only in a beautiful way. Just using his own talents to impress a girl. Like, because he is so very talented and passionate. Like, who would not fall for that?
I was falling for him.
I was too. Like, there were a few moments when I blushed really bad. And also, in the cassette tape, Greg makes a couple of poems. Like, he reads a couple of poems that he made. Like, kind of like cuts off one of Wirt's clarinet numbers just so that he could record. And then he's like, okay, that's all for now. Bye.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's so good. I guess I like the human world too. Like, not in the unknown area when we're not in the woods. So when we're back on the right side of the garden wall, I liked all those friends. Like when he goes to the football game, he's like, "I'm an egg." It's like, we know.
Yeah, I know. Shut it, Kathleen. Whatever.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good. Oh man, and Sarah's a skeleton lady.
I guess a skeleton clown.
But she's also a bee.
Yeah, the mascot for the school.
Mascot, yeah. So good. Oh man, it was.
I was gonna say something, but now I forgot.
Oh, it makes me want to rewatch this episode.
I do like that episode when and then they play like a total like a 90s band kind of song, like as we see Wirt trying to decide if he should give this tape to Sarah or not. And then you see his room, and it's full of cassette tapes and architecture books. And it just takes me back.
And his clarinet on the bed.
And his clarinet, too. And it just takes me back to those old days when I was a kid, and I had a tape recorder that I just wasted a lot of cassette tapes recording my voice, and that was kind of how I got into voice acting, just from recording my voice, doing all sorts of silly voices and whatnot. So it took me back.
I hear ya. I didn't do that, but I mean, it was one of those, like, I would just do it for my friends.
I did it with friends.
Yeah. So, I would do that stuff, and they'd be like, ha ha ha, with that instant gratification garbage. And now I sit back and I'm like, no gratification at all. Yeah, I'll say, looking at his room, I was like, man, yeah, my room looked like that too, except with all the, mine would have been history books all over the place instead of the architecture books, and no clarinet. So I was like, man, yeah, I get you, bro. I get your whole area here. I like it. I dig.
The only episode that was like my least favorite was, I think it was episode 8, when Greg goes to the fantasy land in the clouds. I guess it's because of the colors, like, because it's so pastel colored and bright and fluffy that it just kind of like broke the other color schemes of the whole show.
Yeah,
it just found a little weird.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because to me it was very much like that old school cartoony, like either old school Disney or old school like Merry Melodies type stuff.
Yeah, I felt like
where it's like, oh, look, it's the same thing. And I even like how they did that whole animatic where they're like, we're gonna show them jumping over this, like he's being chased by the north wind, and he's gonna jump over, but it's gonna be the exact same animation, like they're just rolling it again. I thought that was really clever, and everything was in that style. But I like how the whole entire time, it's like when you at the end of that episode, when you're like, oh yeah, all of that was one pleasant dream that the Beast put inside of Greg's head, because he's not going to get both of them, but he can get one of them. So he's like, I'm going to get Greg because he wants to save his brother. So
and oh my gosh, just when Greg made that sacrifice to like just for his own mistakes, that he realized what he did. It's like, okay, Wirt, I won't trouble you anymore. Like, oh, but you're so young.
Yeah. For whatever reason, Hannah said that, like, I hope you like it. And I'm like, why? So she put that little, like, bit in my mind, so I thought that there was, like, someone was gonna die. So the whole time I'm like, is this where Greg dies? I mean, what? Is Wirt gonna, like, sacrifice himself for Greg? I mean, because the last time she said, oh, yeah, you'll really like this, was, like, Interstellar 5 for 595, and I was like, oh, I really like this character. And she's like, yeah, he's cool. And then he dies.
Don't get attached to a character.
Why didn't you tell me that? So, yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen in this one, and then it didn't. So this whole time I'm on edge thinking, like, oh, here's where it goes down, where it's going to sacrifice, especially when he's, like, up in, like, he goes to the Beast, and the Beast is like, hey, why don't you be the new huntsman? I was like, oh, snap. Here it is. This is it. And then he's like, no, this is stupid. And I'm like, wait, what? I got really confused. I'm like, sure, why not? Why not?
I like what the fandom did to kind of twist the plot a little bit, or the ending. I would see some fan art of Wirt as the Beast, like he was the one like trapped like in the Beast's grasp, like he is like the lantern bearer, and like some of them are really scary looking.
Oh man. There was also a part of me that, because the last thing, because like in that episode, the, good fairy or whatever, she's like, Wirt is in, he's being or the only person who, can save him, or the, whatever, is the Beast. So there was part of me that was like, I wonder if Greg would have said, then I want to be the Beast. Because that way he would be in control of his brother. Whoa. So he could let his brother be free. Because like when they weren't showing his head, when it was just like, the neck down, I was like, oh, snippety snappities.
That was really dark.
Right? That's what I thought they were going to do. And I was like, oh man. And then, yeah, no, it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Oof.
I think I remember just reading through the art book, which you guys definitely need to get. It's called The Art of Over the Garden Wall. Definitely get the book. It's interesting. When they were talking about
that on Amazon.
Yeah, definitely. And by Dark Horse. And there was at one point they were talking about the character design for the Beast, and when I think Patrick McHale's wife, like at one point saw like one of the like true forms of the Beast, and she was like terrified, like don't show that on your show. Like I don't want to see awesome. That ever again.
That's great.
I don't know if it was the design they went for or if there was a different design. But I really like how they made him just a dark figure. Like you don't like it's just like a like there's like you see the arms, but like the body is kind of like cape like or ghost
Yeah,
like.
and you see him for what, like a split second
He's very
when
blended into the darkness.
yeah, like they just like a bit of like what he actually looks like when I think the huntsman like turns around real quick. Like right before he blows everything out, you see just a quick glimpse, and I was very tempted to go back and pause, but then I was like, no, I'm too into this. I'm not gonna like stop the flow here.
I think they show it in this book, but it's basically it looks like all the souls that are trapped in a tree, like just like all the dead children. But it's like,
Fun.
oh, it is so dark. Like, oh yeah, like okay, I'm looking at it now. It's like they all look like faces, like with holes in him, and they're all like frowning and stuff. Like they all look like the faces of the dead children, and ooh, so dark.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's just go into the ratings. What would you give this show?
I would give this 10 Norwell blasts.
Well, too bad we can't.
Why? Well, I'm gonna make it 10. I don't care.
If you want to be that person.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to be that person. I'm going to give it 5 Dipper Pines. So out of 5 Dipper Pines, I'm going to give it 5 Dipper Pines.
Cool.
So I'm glad we both really like that. Oh, that's super cool. Sorry, I just looked on... oh, boy. Have fun with this one. I'm just sending you all the pictures. There you go. That one's cool. Yeah, this was definitely a surprise for me. Like I didn't know how good it was gonna be, and then I watched it and I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta go buy this now. So yeah, I spent a good like 15 minutes trying to find this stupid thing. I went to Target, went to Walmart, went to Amazon. I was like, I can't find it anywhere. So I didn't even think to check eBay. So I'm gonna check eBay. Yep, $10.80 something. So gonna put that in a cart and buy it later. Yeah, this was really good. So I think we had a really good Spooktober. What was your favorite episode in Spooktober?
I don't know. I guess well this one and probably the High School of the Dead one.
Yeah, I want to say that these two were like those two are probably up there with me too. We did Gravity Falls, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Gravity Falls.
That was a good one too.
It was definitely a good one. It was definitely a good one. But I don't know. It's one of those, man.
I mean,
First off, High School of the Dead is just something special.
Yeah, that was a good one to choose. But I wish I could say more about Over the Garden Wall because there's so much to go over. But again, totally go check out this show, guys. I keep saying this to everybody. It will only take 2.5 hours of your time.
2.5 is an hour and 53 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So not even 2.5.
Almost 3, but yeah, it's still worth it. You can breeze through it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not gonna take you very long to watch this at all. Plus, I mean, if you got the DVD, there's not a whole lot of extra stuff in there. They did have you can watch the original pilot, and then there's the Behind Over the Garden Wall, which is a little brief little snippet thing from 2013. Just the kind of like the making of, and I thought that was really, really interesting too. Like everything on this thing, I was like, wow, it all works so well.
Everything marries together perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, let's see. So coming up next week, so the week of November 5th, we're going to be releasing our so on Monday. And then on Wednesday, and then on Friday. So the 5th, the 7th, and the 9th. we've got some episodes coming out for you. Our first episode on next week, the 5th, is going to be our Animation is Film Festival review, where we've reviewed Buñuel in the Labyrinth of Turtles, directed by Salvador Simo, Funan, directed by Dennis Do, which Funan won the overall award at the festival and the audience award at the festival, and Buñuel actually won the audience, or no, the judges award. So definitely, two really good ones. Then we also got to watch Mirai, which is Mamoru Hosoda's new film that will be coming out in November and December. And then we also got to watch 3 little shorts from Studio Panak. They put everything together in its Modest Heroes, and it's really, really good. The second and third one are by far the best. I really, really like those. So that's going to be on Monday's episode. Then Wednesday's episode, we're going to have our interview with Salvador Simo, where we talk to him about, the making of Buñuel. And then on Friday, we talk to Dennis Do about the making of Funan. So we have a nice little Animation is Film Festival week for you to kick off November. And then it actually starts Naughty November. So I don't know what we're going to talk about. Something.
I think I have one in mind, but we'll go behind the scenes for that. We'll talk about that later.
All right. Oh man. Well, I don't know about you, Ashley, but I think I'm gonna go to the cemetery and partake of kid-friendly beverages.
Oh, okay, and just have a witch gathering.
Yeah, a witch gathering with age-appropriate beverages. So, like juice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how they're like drinking like a carton of milk. It's like spooky. I did like that cop the whole time. It's like, hey, you robbers, better watch it. Nah, I'm just kidding. Happy Halloween.
By the way,
run across the street. It's like, hey, no running in the street. Nah, I'm just kidding. Happy Halloween.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, but Jason Funderburger's character design was basically Patrick McHale when he was in middle school or high school.
Really? That's
yeah.
Awesome.
When he created that character and like drew him, he just kind of realized, oh my gosh, that looks like me. So maybe that was why they went with Jason Funderburger for the frog's name.
I love that they ended with Jason Thunderburger. I like on the when they're on the steamboat and it's like Mr. President.
I liked Dr. Cucumber.
Oh yeah, Kitty. Oh man, so good. Such a good show.
Definitely watch it, people. Please.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Ashley, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Plus est en vue, and also my voice acting Twitter, Ashley Sailor VO, and ashleysailor.com.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. That's the same for regular stuff and voiceover. You can also find the podcast on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast, on Facebook at Animation Station Podcast, Tumblr at Animation Station Podcast, Twitter at Animate Podcast. You can find all of our episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, and our website, animationstationpodcast.com. Be sure and find our sister podcast, the Hilt Radio, which is Here You Leave Today Radio. You can find them on, same things, iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, anywhere that you can download a episode. They talk about Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel because they live in Southern California and are super nerds for all things Disney. So yeah, definitely go check them out, and be sure and go on iTunes and like and subscribe and review us, because that's how we move up the charts, is if you leave us reviews and like us. So that's how more people can hear about Josh and Ashley's wonderful, I don't know, we ain't got nothing.
Do you think I could leave a review on it?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it'll just,
did you listen to episodes before you were hosting?
Maybe.
Oh wow, that hurts.
I mean,
Ugh,
some. That's got to be.
Some.
It's something. It's something.
Well, yeah, some is something. They're short
It's
for
better.
it.
It's better than nothing.
This is very true.
Yeah.
So
see?
go on the Instagrams. Not that, my gosh,
The
go on
iTunes.
the iTunes. Leave us a review
Okay.
because it helps. We like it. And if you have anything for like any comments, questions, something you'd like us to review, something a themed month that you would like us to do. We're probably not gonna go with Naughty November. That just makes it sound like we're gonna just be doing hentai the entire time. A theme month that you would like us to do, or guests that you would like us to have on, shoot us an email at animationstationpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just go to our website, click on the little contact us, and you can send it there as well. All right, Ashley, I think that's all I got.
Yep. I think the same for me.
Alrighty, so for the Animation Station podcast, I'm Josh.
And I'm Ashley.
Go eat your dirt.
Smell you later.
Yeah.